This is how I've been creating the test banks for the chapter assessments for course 44-130. I've been going into the test bank network. Then I go down here to select questions from one of the following publisher test banks. Click Next. Then I do want to create a new file. And this particular one is for chapter 10 assessment. And it's the multiple choice questions because I already did the true false. And I'll put a description in here. Click on Next. And this gives me a list of my questions. I do prefer to go ahead and do the expanded view, which my screen's not wanting to resize. So my expanded view, you can see the question type, and then I can also see whether this question is selected or not, and then I can look at the question to make sure that it's correct and check for spelling. I did find it earlier a spelling error. Okay, so I selected all the multiple choice questions that I wanted to include, and I'll go back up here to the top, and I'm going to click Insert into List. I have 32 items. I will close this. There's my questions, and now I'll click Finish. So I don't need to edit these any further. I reviewed them pretty thoroughly. I'm going into Preview and Publish Wizard. And this will all stay the same. You may have to make sure it says My Canvas Courses. I've done this a few times. Click Next. My username and my password. Some people might set this to where you don't have to enter the password every time, but I do. And I change it from the graded quiz to a question bank. That way I export both the multiple choice and the true false. Click Next. I need to locate the fall master site for 44-130. Next. Takes a little bit to publish it. So I'll wait for that to go ahead and publish. So it's completely published. I'll click Finish, and now I will return to the course site, and then I can add my new quiz. This is Chapter 10 Assessment. And I had pasted, let's see, I do need to put the instructions here. I'll add that in a little bit, but basically it's the questions that we're looking at. So I add the new group, link to a question bank. I have the multiple choice, and according to Matt, we need about 23 questions for that, and I'll create that group. And add another question bank. This time it will be the true false. And that'll only be 7. I'll save that. I like to go back and edit it that way. And I can take a look at how many questions if I need to there to make sure it's balanced for that. That's pretty well all there is to it, and set the rest like you normally would. And that's how I've been using Respondus to add the question banks for the chapter assessments for 44-130.